What you're about to hear is a speech by Robert De Niro at a No Kings protest where he strongly criticizes Donald Trump. He says the movement is a powerful rallying call, supports it fully, and explains No Kings as no Trump. He compares Trump to past presidents, but claims this situation is different and repeatedly says Trump must be stopped, calling to reject both Kings and Trump, and frames the moment as urgent. Urging action from supporters. Watch the full clip.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to share this event with so many committed people here in this room and out in the streets. And I'm proud to stand with an Indivisible and all the organizations promoting No Kings. The concept of No Kings is a great rallying cry and hugely successful as millions of us have answered the call. I support this movement 150%. Yeah. But when the crowds are chanting No Kings, what I'm really hearing, as we all know, is no Trump.
That's right.
There have been other presidents who have tested the constitutional limits of their power, but none have been such an existential threat to our freedoms and security. None, except Trump. He must be stopped, and he must be stopped now. Amen. It's time to say no to Kings. It's time to say no to Donald Trump. We've had enough. No King Trump. No unnecessary wars that rob our resources, sacrifice our brave servicemen and women, and slaughter innocents. No corrupt leader enriching himself and the Epstein class buddies. No taking away health care from our most vulnerable neighbors. No unaffordable groceries, no unaffordable energy, no unaffordable housing, and no inflation at its highest level since COVID. No government masked thugs shooting down our neighbors in the streets. Trump has to be stopped. And that's what No Kings is all about. Because he can't do all the fucked up things that he's been doing without the collusion of Congress and the goons in his administration. They're bound to him by fear of losing their own jobs, their own power. It's diabolical. How can this be happening? Look at the power of the No Kings national uprising. Look at the power of the No Kings national uprising. Afraid of Trump? Please. No, they should be more afraid of us.
Yeah. That's right.
Because we still believe in the core American values of justice, equality, decency, and kindness. Because we're going from the streets to the ballot box, and because we all deserve a country with no kings, no Trump. Thank you.
What you just heard is a speech structured entirely around opposition and repetition, with Robert De Niro using the word no to list a series of concerns. From the very beginning of the speech, he establishes a clear and consistent pattern where each point is delivered in a similar rhythm, making it easy for the audience to follow and respond. He moves across multiple issues, including wars, economic conditions, healthcare, and leadership conduct, linking each of these points back to his criticism of Donald Trump. This approach keeps the message focused because rather than separating each issue into a different discussion, he connects them all into one central argument. He describes wars as unnecessary, saying they take resources, risk the lives of servicemen and women, and harm civilians, and by placing this early in the sequence, he sets a serious tone around global and human impact. He then raises concerns about corruption, alleging that leadership is enriching itself while connected to powerful associates, which shifts the focus from international issues to internal conduct. As the speech continues, he speaks about healthcare, saying vulnerable people are at risk of losing access, bringing attention to domestic policy and its effect on everyday citizens. He then highlights economic concerns, including unaffordable groceries, energy, housing, and high inflation, which broadens the message further into cost of living issues that affect a wide audience. By placing these issues together, he creates a continuous flow, Moving from one concern to another without breaking the overall structure, he then turns to government force, using strong language to describe actions taken against people in the streets, which introduces a more intense tone and emphasizes conflict between authorities and the public. Following this, he argues that these actions are not carried out alone, but involve members of Congress and others in the administration, who he claims are acting out of fear of losing their positions or power. This part of the speech expands responsibility beyond a single individual, suggesting a broader system of support behind the actions he is criticizing. He then questions how this situation is happening, which adds a rhetorical pause in the speech, before returning again to the strength of the movement. He emphasizes what he calls the power of a national uprising connected to the No Kings movement, repeating the idea to reinforce the scale and energy of the protests. He dismisses the idea that people should fear Donald Trump, instead saying leaders should be more concerned about the public, which shifts the tone from concern to confidence. This transition is important within the speech because it moves from listing problems to expressing belief in collective strength. He then reinforces values such as justice, equality, decency, and kindness, bringing the message back to broader principles and aligning the movement with these ideals. He connects protest action to voting, stating the movement is going from the streets to the ballot box, which links public demonstrations with political participation. This connection shows that the speech is not only about expressing dissatisfaction, but also about encouraging continued involvement through elections. He closes by repeating the message of a country with no kings and no Trump, followed by applause from the crowd, ending the speech with the same central theme introduced at the beginning. Throughout the speech, the structure remains consistent, with repetition, clear phrasing, and a steady progression of ideas. Each section builds on the previous one, without introducing unrelated points, keeping the focus tightly on opposition and the message of the movement. The use of repeated phrases helps maintain audience attention and makes the message easier to remember and repeat. It also reflects the setting of a protest, where speeches are designed not just to inform, but to energize and unify the crowd. By linking different issues together, the speaker presents them as part of a single larger concern, rather than separate debates. This creates a simplified narrative, where multiple challenges are connected to one central figure. At the same time, the speech consistently returns to the idea of collective action, emphasizing the role of the public in responding to these concerns. As speeches like this continue to circulate, they play a role in shaping political discussion. By reinforcing certain messages and encouraging participation, they also reflect how public figures use clear and repeated language to communicate with large audiences in high-energy environments. And in this case, the message remains focused from start to finish, centered on opposition, unity, and action. Let us know your thoughts and stay tuned for more coverage and analysis.